You're watching Cartoon Network Video. You're watching Cartoon Network On Demand. This is Cartoon Network On Demand.
The name is Cartoon Network, there are two major parts. One has lots of action and the other lots of heart. Let me break it down and you will understand what and where and how to watch the lay of the land. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? Birthdays are not for hilarity. Chowder in the kitchen, Flapjack out to sea. They keep them laughing like I can have a burger with cheese. But there's one more show that's topping off the night. It also tops the rating, so all the scripts are fine. What we call a TDI. It's our biggest hit, like a snow day. Everybody's loving it. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? Have you ever heard the phrase, you are here? It refers to the night that we drop it into gear. Batman, Ben 10, Alien Force, and the Secret Saturdays keep us on course. Morphing into Martian, saving the world. You are here, it's tons of fun. Careful not to hurl. Obi-Wan, Yoda, Skywalker, General Grievous is Jack Stalker. Yeah, lightsaber battles, using the Force. Star Wars, the Clone Wars, I highly endorse. So comedy's the heart and action is the soul. They make this network come alive. That's how we roll. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this?
Ben 10 Alien Force. We'll be right back. Ben 10 Alien Force now continues. The Secret Saturdays. We'll be right back. Star Wars The Clone Wars now continues. Star Wars The Clone Wars now continues. Star Wars The Clone Wars will be right back. See you next week. Same time, same place. You were here. Star Wars The Clone Wars Decoded will continue in a moment. And now, back to Star Wars The Clone Wars Decoded, only on Cartoon Network. And now, back to a special decoded episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars. Ben 10 Alien Force will be right back. Ben 10 Alien Force now continues. Here. Ben 10 Alien Force will return in a moment. The Secret Saturdays will be right back. See you next week. Same time, same place. You were here.
Coming up next, it's Baby Looney Tunes on Cartoon Network. Coming up next is Ben 10. Ben 10 Alien Force is coming up next. Chopsocky Chooks is coming up next. Chowder is coming up next. Coming up next, it's Courage the Cowardly Dog on Cartoon Network. George of the Jungle is coming up next. Johnny Test is coming up next. Naruto is coming up next. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Battle Dimension is coming up next. Coming up next, it's Robot Boy on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? On Cartoon Network. Skunk Fu is coming up next. The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack is coming up next. Tom and Jerry are coming up next. Total Drama Island is coming up next. What's New Scooby-Doo is coming up next. Coming up next, it's Batman, Mystery of the Batwoman on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's 16 on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's a pup named Scooby-Doo on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Bakugan Battle Brawlers on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Batman, the Brave and the Bold on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Ben 10 on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Ben 10 Alien Force on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Ben 10 Ultimate Alien on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Camp Lazlo on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Chaotic on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's an all-new Chaotic on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Chowder on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Codename Kids Next Door on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Courage the Cowardly Dog on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Ed, Edd and Eddy on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Generator Rex on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's George of the Jungle on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Goosebumps on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's the premiere of Goosebumps Welcome to Dead House on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Hot Wheels Battle Force 5 on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Johnny Test on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Crypto the Superdog on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's The League of Super Evil on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Mucha Lucha on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's My Gym Partner's a Monkey on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Naruto on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Pokemon on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Battle Dimension on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Galactic Battles on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Robot Boy on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? On Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Skunk Fu on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Star Wars The Clone Wars on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Stoked on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Teen Titans on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Garfield on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's The Mr. Men Show on Cartoon Network. Up next, The Powerpuff Girls continues on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's The Secret Saturdays on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's a new episode of The Secret Saturdays on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's the Superhero Squad Show on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Tom and Jerry on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Total Drama Island on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Total Drama Action on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's an all-new Totally Spies on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's What's New Scooby-Doo on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's an all-new Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Adventures in Babysitting on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Casper's Scare School on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Foster's movie, Destination Imagination on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Foster's movie, House of Blues on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, Garfield Fun Fest on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Garfield Gets Real on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Home Alone 3 on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Open Season on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Pokemon Movie 10, The Rise of Darkrai on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Scary Godmother 2, The Revenge of Jimmy on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo's Arabian Nights on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Scooby-Doo Pirates Ahoy on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Scooby-Doo The Mystery Begins on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Tom and Jerry Blast Off to Mars on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Tom and Jerry The Fast and the Furry on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, it's Codename Kids Next Door, only on Cartoon Network.
After Total Drama Island, stick around for today's Thumb Wrestling Mashup. Hold tight because Chowder will be right back. I can't wait that long. And now, welcome back to Chowder. Stick around for a new episode of 16. I'm so excited. And now, welcome back to Chowder. Quiet, Dick. There is no time for that now. But, Colonel, I'm just trying to introduce the show. Roll the clip! And now, welcome back to Chop Saki Chooks. I love that show.
Up next, it's an all-new 16 on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's an all-new Adventure Time on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Chowder on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's an all-new Flapjack on Cartoon Network. Up next, it's Johnny Test on Cartoon Network.